Test, 1, 2, test. Jeff, can you hear us now?
Thank you. Okay, back to the commission for questions or in discussion.
Let me ask, city attorney, should we reread the public comment if the public didn't hear the comment? If the microphone was off?
Well, it wouldn't hurt to reread it just to make sure, since it is a public comment.
Okay.
This is an email we received from Alvaro Franco. It says, clerk, please read into the record. Dear Planning Commission, I am writing in regards to the conditional use permit being reconsidered for Family Pizza. I love Family Pizza. When I purchased my home, I asked the previous owner what place he would recommend for food here in Ceres. He said Family Pizza. I understand their CUP expired. Okay, thank you. And they are seeking to restart the process all over again. Being an avid customer, I have no problem with their expansion, but do have a concern regarding their hours of operation on Sunday in their new proposed site. There are apartments across the street, and I live a beer bottle's throw away from the establishment, so I would hope that there are reasonable hours of alcohol operation, 12 a.m. or earlier rather than 2 a.m., or at least Sunday when people will be trying to get some rest to go to work Monday. I've witnessed a lot near the proposed construction site, and I fear offering alcohol at late night hours may not add to the security of the area, given the fact that I rescued what I now presume was an intoxicated man from the canal, as well as intoxicated homeless sex. I certainly don't want more of that in front of my daughter, so please enforce reasonable hours of operation for an alcoholic establishment where it generally should not be allowed, if not for the CUP. That is all. Thank you, Alvaro Franco.
Thank you. Okay, we'll bring it back to the commission again.
I'll go ahead and start. I got a couple questions for staff. Does the city have a policy in place to require the owners to fill the building that they're leaving? Does the city have anything like that or no? So it can sit vacant for,
Until someone decides to purchase or lease that property. So that's it.
and then my next question would be possibly for the city manager. Can you speak on the late hours of a business like this and what's standard policy throughout the city?
Pretty much for the city, it's going to be what was established already. We can make adjustments depending on, for alcohol use and everything else. So, I mean, if the planning commission so desires, we can move that back to 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. instead of 2 a.m. But generally throughout the city, it's consistently 2 a.m. 7 days a week on restaurants that serve alcohol.
Is there any other?
Question for staff. Have there been any discussions between the applicant and staff about what hours are being proposed for this use?
It would be the same hours they're operating currently.
Which I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure what those are.
Um,
Or we don't have. We don't have any code restriction on hours. For example, some cities say that if you want to be open beyond 12, you need a SUP, CUP. We don't have those restrictions, so they can set their own hours. And then the sale of alcohol is based on state law, which is 2 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
And my question, if we were to restrict hours at one establishment, then we'd have to go back and do the same for the others that serve alcohol? Or is it just, it's case or establishment by establishment?
I would say it'd be establishment by establishment, but you would be setting precedent definitely with that decision.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one question. This being a CUP anyway, would we not have a little bit of a stronghold on it later on if we have a lot of issues?
That'd be correct.
Okay.
CUPs are revocable if they're not adhering to their conditions, or if they become a problem, there is a revocation process that we could entertain.
That's a big reason for CUPs anyway.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Yes.
So checking on Google, their hours currently are, they close at 11 PM all 7 nights.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Okay. Do we have a motion for this item?
Is the applicant here? Do we know?
Is the applicant here for the family pizza?
No?
No.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions? I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit time extension. Resolution PC 24-21, proposal for a 1-year time extension for a previously approved conditional use permit 20-03 to construct an 11,900 square foot family pizza and bar restaurant on a 1.16 acre parcel located at 3113 East Whitmore Avenue.
I'll second that.
Can we get the roll call, please?
Certainly. Chairperson Otero,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Condit,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson, and Commissioner Catchell.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Moving on to public hearings, item number 4, conditional use permit 24-09, proposal for a conditional use permit for the construction of a 5,951 square foot Maverick fueling station convenience store with 24 fuel pumps and site improvements at the southeast corner of Mitchell Road and Road. Maverick Todd Myers is the applicant. CEQA status, notice of determination of consistency with the Mitchell Ranch Center EIR and the Ceres Gateway Center mitigated negative declaration section 15168 parent C parent 2. Required action is to adopt PC resolution 24-20. Senior Planner Teddy Hernandez, will you please present the staff report?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners.
So sorry to interrupt. We just need 1 second for our commissioner to recuse himself.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. This presentation is for the Maverick Fueling Station, project number 24-09. The conditional use permit to construct a 5,951 square foot Maverick fueling station and convenience store with 24 fuel pumps under 2 separate canopies for small trucks and small vehicles and for commercial trucks, including site and permits. The project site is located on the southeast corner of Mitchell Road and Road. This is the aerial vicinity map showing the project area. The current zone of the property is regional commercial and the general plan is regional commercial as well. The surrounding land uses to the north are regional commercial and highway commercial. To the south is a vacant parcel, which is designated as regional commercial. To the east is vacant property as well, which is regional commercial. And to the west is the regional commercial. It's our Ceres Gateway Center. This is the Maverick's proposed site plan. The site plan shows the 5,951 square foot convenience store with 14 small vehicle fuel pumps and then 10 commercial truck diesel pumps, truck scales, and EV charging stations. We do have a correction from our staff report. We did state that this facility would have showers. It does not have showers. It's not overnight parking like a Flying J or a Love's. It's more of a convenient stop and fuel up and get something to eat station. So Maverick did work with our engineering division prior to submitting this final site plan. For the direction of the traffic coming in and out of the driveways, for the location of the driveways. And they understand that if at any time the engineering division feels that there needs to be any changes to that, they're willing to work with the engineering division for that. The city requires a minimum of 24 parking stalls for the site, and Maverick is providing 36. This site also features an RV dumping station, which from the research I could do, I couldn't find another location in series that offers this. So I thought it was an interesting amenity that we need. So Maverick was generous enough to provide us some economic impact numbers for their site. And this is just a quick glance. I did give you a copy of this report. It's anticipated for construction material purchases within this region to be approximately $594,000. They are projected to employ the equivalent of 15 full-time employees. Projected to generate over $629,000 in sales and use tax from fuel in the first year. And they're projected to generate an additional over $41,000 in sales and use tax from convenience store sales the first year as well. The Mitchell Road corridor in the series General Plan 2035 is designated as a truck route. The Mitchell Road is a significant truck route that runs from State Route 99 into the Modesto City County Airport and the Beers Industrial Track in Modesto, which is to the east of the airport. The Mitchell Road corridor currently does not offer any services for commercial trucks, despite already being designated as a truck route. And it is a significant truck route for the entire Stanislaus County. The nearest fueling stations that accommodate commercial trucks is 17 miles to the north in Ripon or 18 miles to the south in Livingston. So we are a heavy truck route and do not have accommodations for these trucks. This map is from the Stanislaus County General Plan. In the black box on the top corner, it shows that the Mitchell Road in front of the airport is county owned and it is designated as a truck route. And they also have Faith Home designated as a truck route, which feeds into Service, which comes out north of where this Maverick is proposing to go. So we have two main truck routes that feed into Mitchell Road corridor. And this is from the city of Modesto, their public works. They show that Oakdale Road that turns into El Vista, which turns into Mitchell Road, is also designated as a truck route. So we have trucks feeding into our Mitchell Road from all the way in North Modesto. And this was an interesting tidbit that our economic development manager can speak more to, but this is a Mobalytics report showing all these tiny green dots everywhere are visitors from outside of Ceres that come to our Super Walmart. So it shows how far people travel just to come to Little Ceres to our Super Walmart. Staff recommends that commissioners make the determination that this project is consistent with the Mitchell Ranch Center Mitigated Negative Declaration. Per CEQA guidelines 15168C2 and approve 24-09 CUP subject to the findings and conditions contained in the attached draft resolution PC 24-20. Thank you. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Teddy. Does the commission have any questions or comments on this item? The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? If so, please come to the podium and state your name for the record.
Sorry, Chair, prior to opening the public hearing, we request that the applicant is given his 5 minutes.
Okay. Can we please have I'm sorry, can we please have the applicant step to the podium? Thank you.
Todd Myers, 185 South State Street, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm an employee of Maverick, and I wanted to thank the city and the Planning Commission for consideration of our applications that we have before you. I've been with Maverick for a number of years, and probably one of the biggest changes I've seen was about 8 years ago or so. We had all of our stores permitted. We were ready to go for the year. Our real estate department typically was not ready to go on the year. We were this year, and our president walked in and said, "Hey, I got a new vision. I want whenever somebody is driving down the road with their spouse and their spouse needs to use a restroom, I don't want them to say, find me a restroom. I want them to say, find me a Maverick." And so that when you go into our Mavericks, you're going to see that that is an emphasis that we have. Our restrooms are bigger and hopefully clean enough to hit the expectation of our customers. And even myself as working at the corporate office employees, once a year, we have to go out or get the opportunity to go out and we clean restrooms. And the real reason why is not that we do a good job at it, but it sends a nice message to all of the store employees. The other thing that I've seen change over the years deals with our stores themselves. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you would see a C-store and basically almost all of the money was produced out at the gas pump. And the gas pump is still important, but we also have to prepare for the future. And fossil fuels will probably go down in use over the years. And so we've really put a big emphasis on what we do inside the stores. Currently, we are a family-owned company that's in 20 different states now and 800 stores. And we've done a lot of learning from our peers, mainly from back east. We've participated in a share group and with other C stores of how do we prepare for the future? And the future we feel it's the store. It is the store. And so when you go into our stores now versus say 15 years ago, it's a big open fill. It's not claustrophobic. It's not just some gum here and maybe a can of oil here. No, we have items that sell. They move frequently. We watch ourselves to know which items should be on our shelves. And then also the big thing is the fresh food items. And so, even though, we're a C store and you have C stores in your town, it's what's taking place inside the store that's going to make each one of them different. How much of an emphasis do they put on their food product? It is a very important part for ourselves. And then as you go out and you look outside, what Maverick is doing here is we're also adding a fueling operation for larger vehicles. Now, we're not a truck stop. We do not have a trucker's lounge. We do not have overnight parking. We do not have showers. What we do have is an area on our site separated from the cars where they can go fuel up. So whether or not it be a commercial driver or, that once every 10 years when you drive a U-Haul, there's a space for you to be able to go that's separated from where the cars are, from the pedestrians walking from the fuel canopy to the store. Staff mentioned what the city requirement is for parking and how many we offer. We really want it when you're driving down the road. We want you to see your parking stall. We're a convenience business. We want you to see your stall. And those stalls turn over about every 7 minutes. So people are in and out pretty fast. We do a large volume of business. And over on the semis, we don't have parking over there. And so over there, they're going to be fueling, between 20 to 25 minutes. They're going to run in and use the store while they're still in that position, because we're not a Love's. We're not one of these truck stops that have the huge contracts with the different trucking firms. We really serve more of the independents, and we have smaller contracts, but it's not high volume. And so, yeah, a truck can be there in that fueling position for 20, 25 minutes, and it does not affect our operations at all. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does the commission have any questions for the applicant? Go ahead.
Just in following up on what you said about changes in the future, what percentage or how many electrical car service or charging ports, I guess they're called, will you have on site?
Offhand, I don't remember on this. We end up following the code on that. And then in certain states, I don't think California is one of them, certain states we've had the DOTs that have reached out to us and done grant programs where, every 150 miles down the interstate, we have a Maverick, we have charging stations. But off the top of my head, I don't remember what we have on this one.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
So you obviously know the layout of it's pretty big. In your opinion, is there ample space to negotiate vehicle safety in there?
Yes. So we, and we're happy to provide this, we do turning templates on every project. And so if the city is interested in seeing the turning templates on this, we're happy to provide those. And our turning templates for our semis works just fine for whatever the fire department also has. And so, but we could do a special one for the fire department if they have any concerns.
Commissioner, I just wanted to add, and if our city engineer wants to, we have seen the turning templates, so we do know that the trucks fit. It was a requirement when placing the driveway. So we have reviewed the templates and it does work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll now open it for public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sunny Guy. I'm the Popeyes franchisee across the street. And I'm also in the convenience and gas business. I live in Pleasanton, California. First of all, just wanted to point out to staff an error in the staff report. The opening page shows a parcel size 1.16 acres. If I go to the plan, it is 3 point something acres. So I don't know which one is correct on this one. Secondly, I do a lot of development as well, convenience and gas and QSR, and we have 3 major brands behind us with 200 locations. And I find it absolutely absurd that the city is jumping into this huge thing without a traffic study, without going out to Caltrans, because we can all presume what we want in our city. But I know I'm talking to the economic development officer of GORD this afternoon, and she says, because of some similar development, Caltrans has pulled the on-ramp at Simmerhorn Street in GORD. They're going to shut it down because city did not work with Caltrans to figure out whether this can handle the traffic. I did see a lot of dollar numbers being thrown out about sales tax and stuff. I mean, that is absolutely absurd. Those are not dollar numbers that are coming into the city. Those are dollar numbers from the same cake that are going to be spread out into one more and cause failures of other businesses. There's a lot of conversation about food options. I have never seen a food option combination as good as we have across the street. Everything. And then you want from the smallest thing to the biggest thing, you have Walmart. And I also believe that Walmart has a gasoline permit from the past that they may trigger any time. I heard about truck stops. The one is in Ripon and one is in Atwater, I believe, or Livingston. And I'm fully aware of those because there are QSRs on those. I own the Burger King and Popeyes at Ripon on Jacktown, and I have stores going south as well. And 35 miles is a very nominal distance for a truck stop. But if we are justifying this as a truck stop, My friend over here just said, this is not going to be a truck stop. This is just a truck convenience for in and out. Believe me, I've driven trucks. I've driven semis. That thing does not turn over there into that street very easily and come out without causing a problem. You're going to create a mess over there if this is approved. It's not going to bring extra dollars. It will cause failures of existing businesses in the city when you have a beautiful development across the street that has hospitality, traffic supply, 7 different brands, a car wash, gas station, 2 gas stations down the road. Maverick is a very good brand. Absolutely great operation, but they do not need to be on this specific parcel. There's a lot of parcels probably in the city of Ceres. Maybe they need to go west of the freeway where there's free ingress egress. But doing this without a traffic study, without going out to Caltrans is suicidal. And then you cannot pull back a CUP after they've invested $20 million on a side street, having them turn around. They can go either way. If they want to do a full service truck stop, as the city says that they're going to benefit from him, there's no truck stop in 35 miles, and take off the fueling, car fueling, and just focus on trucks. Give them all the benefit. But why do you want to have that quick truck stop turnover and jam the whole traffic? Because that guy can go in Ripon, that guy can go in at Livingston. 35 miles is not a big distance between truck stops. And there are a lot of truck stops coming on 99. We are going to see truck stop failures. Ask me what I have done. I had a parcel of land at Dunnigan, California that I went to Tesla and I said, here is a parcel, and they have put 45 chargers on it. If you look up the Pilot at Dunnigan, Pilot truck stop, Google, you will see the parcel across behind the Burger King and the Taco Bell. 45 chargers have been planted. Is that not the vision that we are going towards? That we need a combination of all the various things. Food options, you got Walmart to the C stores to all the QSRs across the street and the 3 gas stations that we have now. Fueling, you have everything. And if there was demand, Walmart is not going to back off. They will go in and put it there. If everybody from outside of town comes to Walmart, then that might be the better space for the gasoline to go. But if they want to bring in trucks to fill in here, those trucks are not coming out of, that trucker is not going to get off the freeway and say, I'm going to fill at Maverick, because that's the most inconvenient ingress egress that he has. He will go to the more convenient one where he has 2-3 options in Ripon, or he may go south. So their balance, they are a good operation, but this is not the right place to be with sticking in 3 lanes on truck parking in the middle of 12 cars on a small parcel. Doesn't make sense to me. This will kill the city. And the least planning commission can do is take this back for a traffic study and go to Caltrans and see what they have to say. And I can bet on it, Caltrans, we say, you cannot take additional traffic. But we need to see that. You can't just, somebody brings a plan and say, presume that it's going to be. There are no extra dollars coming to this city. Nobody's going to get off that freeway and say, I'm going to fill at this Maverick. Believe me, it's within this city, within this vicinity, that you're going to share the cake with somebody else.
Thank you, sir. You're at your 5 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else that would like to step up to the podium?
Good evening. My name's Kevin. I'm the president of our Police Officers Association here at Ceres. On behalf of the men and women that make up the Ceres Police Officers Association, we are excited for the potential of the Maverick truck stop becoming a part of our Ceres community. Thank you for those businesses who have been with us since the start, those who have recently came in, and those who are looking to join us shortly. Our police officers, community service officers, and code enforcement team enjoy positively communicating and engaging with all of our citizens and visitors that come to our city to either dine, shop, fill your vehicles up with gas, or choose to spend the night at our hotels, motels for the evening. We are always committed to providing our businesses and business owners with the highest quality of service through the means of public safety and enforcement solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
William Rossi, address 4831 Esmond Road, Surrey. I think you're putting this in the wrong place. As you all know, that intersection is a major disaster already. Back when I was coming to this meeting, I was leaving Esmond to get on to Mitchell and get on the freeway. And a 53-footer was blocking the intersection because the traffic had backed up from Walmart. I had the green light. I only had so many minutes to get across so I could get on Highway 99. That's just with our off-season traffic or off rush hour traffic. Several times when I try to get on the freeway from Road, it's completely blocked. People back up because the signals, the way they're sequenced. It's a total disaster there already. I know in the future you plan on widening it. You've already started to widen Road for 4 lanes. It's my understanding that eventually that will be 4 lanes going down into Keys. But right now it's not. But I think what you really have to look at is it's not a matter of getting the trucks into that place, whether they come from the north or the south off of the freeway onto Mitchell, then they got to jog over, and that's not easy. It's a major disaster there too. Is that right? All right, thanks. So when you get off the freeway to get onto Road, you have to shuttle over to the right, and then you have, especially during the rush hour, a tremendous amount of traffic coming off the freeway onto Mitchell, trying to jog over to keep going onto Mitchell. You're trying to jog over to get over to Road. Especially if you're pulling a trailer or you have a 53-footer. Even if you're coming from the north or you eventually get over to Road and turn onto it and get into this site, the big question I have is how are you going to get out of there? You're at the limits of the city limits right now by the canal where this property is. I would think most guys driving 53-footers or bigger are going to turn right to go with the flow of traffic south. So you're going to leave the city, go to the county roads. Those county roads aren't designed for 53-footers, 40-footers, 53-footers, whatever. I would imagine a driver is going to try to take a left on Redwood, then go over to Baytown Road, turn left, get back onto Service and get back onto the signals to go either north or south to get back on the freeway. The Redwood Road is so narrow now, just 2 cars can hardly pass. There's no signals. I think you're going to create a major traffic jam there. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this facility. I think you're in the wrong spot. It's going to be dangerous. You've already got a major disaster, and you all know it there, especially during commute time. I don't know how they're going to get 53-footers or tractor trailers across, leaving that property and trying to go back on the road to head back to Mitchell. The way the traffic comes down road now, it's at pretty high speed. I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't think the roads are ready for it. You don't have the signals. When you get off of the freeway to get onto Mitchell and you're trying to go north and get over into the lane, you've got to cross over in front of all that traffic
Sir,
coming
thank
off
you.
of Mitchell.
Your 5 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Brown. I'm with CC Planning and Permitting Services, address 3275 North Dante, Fresno, California. I'm here representing a couple of different businesses, specifically the businesses for Mr. Guy in the Gateway Center across the street. Today I sat out there and watched the traffic. I got into town about 4 o'clock and it was back-to-back cars going from the freeway all the way to the road intersection. The concern that I'm seeing here is that if you get 3 tractor trailers, just 3 back to back, that's essentially 20 cars. That's going to block those cars from being able to get through there. That's going to back traffic up even further up Mitchell or down Road. And that's, you know, that's a considerable amount of traffic just for what this is bringing. In addition to that, you know, I kind of want to bring the point that I know this isn't going to be set up as an overnight for trucks, but if you go anywhere in the state where there is a truck stop, any kind of truck stop, you'll find that the truckers are going to pull off to the side of the road and they're going to stay there whether there's parking for them or not. And this happens everywhere. Generally speaking, you know, it won't happen if you have a truck stop with dedicated parking, but if you have a smaller truck stop, they're going to just park along the side of the road. They're going to stay the night. And you're going to start to see problems with, you know, the businesses in the area having to deal with all of that excess parking of these vehicles, blocking the roads, getting in the way. It's going to bring out a nightlife that is probably a little less than savory. So, and then on top of that, you also have to contend with the stresses it's going to place on public services, things like police enforcing the parking laws, you know, the lesser, trying to think of a way to say this without being too graphic, but, you know, the, well, I'll just say it, prostitution that comes along with a lot of these truck stops. You know, this is going to put a lot of pressure on the services in that area. And I don't know that the city's necessarily given it a lot of thought as to what this is going to bring to that area and how it's going to affect the businesses that are investing a lot of money. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Brandy Meyer again. I'm not here against or for this project. I just did an unofficial survey of some colleagues and residents in Ceres, and I made a list of pros and cons. A lot of them you've heard already, but I just wanted to make sure that I speak on behalf of the people who trusted me to come here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start with the cons first. We'll start on the negative, but a lot of comments that I heard, not another gas station. Somebody today just mentioned to me that Walmart is considering a gas station. Does anybody know if that is true, not true? We don't know? No, okay. So I don't know if that's true or not, but again, that's what someone said to my attention today, and I thought, okay, well, that's going to be an issue. The other thing is the environmental impact on the city. So groundwater, soil. Has there been an environmental impact report done on this? Okay. I know a lot of people in that area farther rely on wells. And then the most common, which many people have already said today, is increased traffic and congestion. I think probably 95% of the people that sent me messages brought that up. To end on the pros. So again, location for travelers to rest, get gas, and shop. I like that idea. Economic. Additional revenues for the city. I spoke to a couple police and fire, and they seem to be in support of this. So my concern also was crime in the beginning because I thought it was going to be an overnight, but then when I found out it wasn't overnight, that kind of became a non-issue. But not that it won't happen, but at least our police and fire will be on top of that. Additional opportunities for travel or possible restaurants in that area, people getting off the roads to get something to eat, which can bring more revenue to our city. Maybe possibly another hotel. I'm looking forward to our current hotel being completed. And is this true that there might be RV dumping at this location? Is that true? So as an RV owner, I'm very thrilled because we always have to take care of that before we get back to series. So that is another pro as far as I'm concerned. But again, I'm not here for or against. I just wanted to bring to you what some other concerns have been so that when you make your decision, you have a little bit more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Farman Shear with Site Design Collaborative, and I'm the civil engineer for Maverick. Just wanted to clarify a couple of items. One of the commissioners had asked for the number of electrical charging stalls. So the California Building Code and Green Building Code requires 2 charging stalls to be operational at the time of grand opening, with 6 ready for future additional charging stations. So a total of 8. And also, as far as circulation is concerned, as Todd mentioned, we have ran our large truck templates for what's called the WB67, which is the largest truck that you can get in and out of driveways to make sure that all of the turning movements work. And also we have separated out with signage that only regular vehicles can enter the first driveway. So any truck that wants to get in and out has to get further away from the signalized intersection. The other item that I wanted to also mention is that Maverick had retained Fair and Pierce, traffic engineering consultant, that has done a lot of studies for including for the original Walmart Supercenter. So they are very familiar with this area and the traffic in the area. And they did a traffic analysis for Maverick. And they did a comparison of what the commission had already approved with the tentative parcel map for this project. And the comparison showed that there is a negligible difference between what Maverick is proposing versus what was shown on the approved tentative parcel map, which is 12,000 square feet of retail with 4,400 square feet gas station. Another thing that they also concluded in their traffic memo is that 76% of daytime and 74% of evening traffic for Maverick is passerby. So it's cars and trucks that are already on the road that will be using the facility. That's everything that I wanted to add.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Patrick Brzezinski said Mitchell Road is a designated truck route. Now, there get so much traffic on Mitchell, all these big trucks, 53-footers are cutting down, coming up through Road and going on Moore Road, which is basically a single lane road. I've almost been killed coming out of my driveway. These guys are going 40, 50, 60 miles an hour down a single lane road, cutting cars off side of the road. I know there's a new truck company down there on Moore Road. I think a lot of the traffic's from them. But I'm concerned with this new truck stop that there's going to be a lot more trucks trying to cut down Moore Road, which is not even decent. And if you go down Moore Road and just try to bring my kids to school in the morning, you cross Service, it's crazy just trying to get across from Moore to Service Road in the morning already with the traffic. There's wrecks there all the time. I'm just thinking the whole traffic in the whole area is pretty crazy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. When the new on-ramp and off-ramp goes on near the new hotel, will that do anything for the traffic to help it?
That's a good question for Michael. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So yes, when we're looking at all of the traffic, we are looking at the truck traffic. Also, as we move through the process of looking at traffic and what needs to be done to on-ramps, off-ramps, we know that, for instance, the Mitchell northbound off-ramp will essentially get widened to 2 lanes. That way, queuing is a whole lot better. We also know that Mitchell southbound would eventually get closed off. So there would be no exit onto southbound Mitchell, which would actually help the flow of traffic onto the freeway. Right now, Caltrans had to install a signal for their southbound Mitchell off-ramp. And so that signal will eventually be eliminated, and there will just be a free flow of traffic onto the freeway. So once this project does come to fruition, yes, it will help the traffic flow in the area. I'd like to add also that we do have a traffic synchronization program going on right now. And, you know, with that, it's essentially made to, if you want to say, be living. We have a traffic consultant that is on board with us that is able to look at different intersections in the city once the synchronization is complete to help move traffic through if we need to adjust timing kind of on the fly. So thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Gene Yakeley series. I think the first gentleman that got up, he's still there. Yeah, the gentleman back there said he had driving experience. So did I, 25 years. Quite a few years over the road. And I think I've hit every truck stop there was at the time. This location here that you're proposing, no, not for semis. You want to put another gas station in there? Fine. But the area that it's in, and they've, through the years, they went to 53-foot trailers and the tractors. Of course, California has, unless it's changed, it was 65 feet long. So from front to back, there's 65 feet. You got all that traffic coming in and out off the freeway, and that intersection has been so screwed up already, unless you spend a lot of money, and I don't know if Caltrans is gonna pay too much into that, maybe they will, but if you don't fix that, you're gonna have a mess for years. And it's just not a place, you know, I mean, cars and RVs are fine, but when you have that traffic with trucks coming in there off the freeway, that's not a no, that's a no-go. And there's not going to be enough space for them. And fueling and stuff, I get that. You know, it takes a long time for, you know, some trucks have, you know, years ago, 75-gallon tanks on each side, then 80, then 100, then 150 on each side. And they're going to go run into the store and try to buy something, and they can't park there. And like some other gentleman said, they're going to be on the sides of the roads. Yeah, that happens all the time. If they're not, they're going to be on, they're going to try to stay on Mitchell or any vacant lot they can go to, which the police department's seen that and happened before on Mitchell Road. People just pulling off on these empty lots we have. You know, it's not, you know, is it feasible? Yeah, if you can spend the money, but is it practical? No, it's not practical at all. You know, I hate to say it, but, you know, I'm kind of curious too, why they pick series. You know, if I'm driving, you know, unless I'm out of fuel, and that's something you learn, you know where you're going and how long it takes to get there and how much fuel you're going to burn. You know, from one point to A to B, how much it's going to cost you time-wise to get to another location. If I'm driving up 99, I know where there's some place to stop, unless they got some low prices that's practical for me to fill up my tanks on my diesel tractor. Maybe, but not likely. I'm going to go somewhere that has full service, a lot of room, because you need a lot of room with 55 or 53-foot trailers, and even smaller ones, 40s, 42s, whatever. You have to have a lot of room. Again, that's going to be a problem over there. And I don't know who surveyed this thing, but, you know, between the people on the commission there, I think you ought to find somebody that's got a semi with a 53-foot trailer and go down the highway south of here, and then come back and just pull off of Mitchell Road and see how difficult it is at that intersection there right off the highway. It's terrible. dumping sites, that's probably a good thing. But if you're catering to anything beyond RV people, people on vacation, if you're catering to semi truck drivers that have a business and a time schedule, I got to stop somewhere that gives me everything unless I'm running out of fuel, desperate. That's a bad spot, and the city's going to pay for it surely somewhere along the line. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shirley Rogers series. Year after year, I hear people complain in series about we don't get any of the good stuff. It goes to Modesto or it goes to Turlock. Well, you're seeing a good reason why right now. Please consider letting something nice go in, something big, something different, something Turlock and Modesto doesn't have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
I have a question. So traffic seems to be the biggest topic tonight, and I just have a question for staff. I can't find it in the report. Is there a specific current traffic report that has been done for this project?
Staff would like to address comments after all public comments done. It's how it should be run. So we'll finish public comment and then we will address all of the topics that have come up tonight as a response. So if you don't mind, we will save our answers till after public comment. That's how this meeting should be run, and I would like to run it. We will finish public comment and then staff will answer questions and at the questions from our commission.
So you can answer that?
No, I can. I will answer all of, I will answer, no, the answer is not no, but I will answer all of the questions. Multiple things have been brought up, but it's appropriate to address those questions after public comment has been closed.
Okay, the public question, but okay.
So it's a public comment period. Public questions will be addressed after.
John Warren, City of Ceres. And looking at this thing from a law enforcement point of view, I work both in Stockton, San Joaquin County, and in Stanislaus County in my last number of years on the highway patrol. Truck drivers are a different breed of people. If you don't want them to go someplace, and this Maverick stop really isn't designed for them, okay? It's designed for the medium-sized vehicles, RVs, people traveling up and down the state. It's really not designed for the long-haul truck driver. But our corridor here on Mitchell Road is a commercial corridor, and that brings all the trucks that deliver all the goods that we want. We don't want the trucks to be here. And they all burn fuel. And right now we're not capturing the sales tax and all the other things that go along with that type of commercial business. They're going someplace else and filling up those 150-gallon tanks and 50-gallon tanks on each side of their vehicle. And we're not capturing that. Well, this really isn't designed to capture all of that. It's just going to capture some of it because they are going to come here, because they're going to go up and down Mitchell Road. They're going to deliver product up in Beard, over at the airport and in downtown Modesto. Those trucks are going to be here. And McDonald's has big trucks that come and go. Walmart does. All these vehicles are going to come and go, and they're going to end up being there. What's going to happen is those guys are going to be out of hours. They're going to be tired. They're going to be sleepy. And what Ceres Police Department maybe doesn't even realize now, they're going to park all over the place. I dealt with them down at the truck stop in Turlock. And when you ran out of space in the truck stop side where the parking spaces were, they parked on the on-ramps out on the freeway. And you just don't have enough people to go along and knock on all the doors saying, hey, you got to go down the road. You can't be here. The Ceres Police Department doesn't have the number of units to go knock on all those truck doors and tell them, hey, you can't sleep here. There's no overnight parking. And it will cause problems for businesses. But on the other hand, when I was an RV person, which I was for many, many years, it was very nice to find a place to get fuel that was medium, that was smaller, and you didn't have to deal with all the trucks. I hated to go into a place and have to deal with all the trucks. But those were convenient for some things, and they're not convenient for others. So it's kind of a trade-off here. Okay, what you asking for and you're going to get, but you're gonna get some of the residual that you really don't want. So that's something to consider. I know Brandy's mentioned, here's the pros and here's the cons. I think it's a good, well-written report. I think staff did an excellent job in presenting the general plan summary and all of that. I think engineering looked at it and figured some things out. But there's things down the road that some of the other people here that realize from that industry that you're going to get. And human trafficking is one of them. Okay, it's going to come. Those people in those trucks sitting out there on the side of the road, they're not twiddling their thumbs. Okay, I've been involved in sting operations with these places, and it's going to come. And it's going to come right down here to the Gateway Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commission, city staff. My name is Nathan Sanchez, and Ceres is the city that I call home. So definitely we have gathered here tonight to discuss the topic of the Maverick fueling station. I know one of the items and one of the things that a downfall of it is, of course, the traffic congestion. But it would be selfish of me personally to itemize just that when all the benefits I personally feel that this truck stop would bring to the city. One of the things that the truck drivers, everything that they do, they, to me, are often unnoticed. Whatever we have on our table, whatever we do throughout the day, wound up on that register or for us to use due to a truck driver. Doing what? Driving this truck and hauling it to the designated area. For sure, no doubt, if this does pass, whether it does or it doesn't, I will fully support the decision. But I do know that if it does pass, more than likely, at one time or another, every one of us are going to stop there. Whether it's to fuel up, whether it is to use a restroom or just to get a quick bite as we're in a rush. So just take it into consideration on both aspects, not necessarily just the cons, but of course the pros and the benefits that it will do in the revenue for our beautiful city of Ceres. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commission and staff. Joe Spanny, resident here at Ceres. We have an opportunity with this project tonight. Multiple people have spoke on it that it's going to bring in a lot more traffic. The reality is more based that it's going to be existing traffic that's coming off of 99, heading into Modesto or coming from Modesto to get back onto 99. We have the opportunity to capitalize on some of those sales, bringing more revenue into this town, providing more services. If you look at all of our social media, any of the surveys that are done by city employees, say we want street crime unit, we want traffic patrol, we want more services here at the community center, we want more beautification across this town. Right now, the funds in the general fund, they are what they are. They're not going to support all of those things or even most of those things. So this is an opportunity for us to bring in some of those funds, be able to accomplish some of those goals that we've talked about as citizens and as people on this commission and as people on the Ceres Council. We also have the opportunity to bring in more business to that area to finish out and fill out that land that's been sitting vacant for years. I've been a firefighter here in this town for over 17 years. Every year, we burn at least a portion of that land that's there. It's a net draw on our resources in this town, whether it's code enforcement having to go out and write up weeds, or police officers having to go and tell transients that they need to leave, or firefighters going there and spending hours putting out and overhauling fires. We have an opportunity to make some positive change here in town with this. I urge you to vote yes on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak?
Hello, my name is Frank Orozco. I actually work on a lot of developments, various counties. One of them that I work for, of course, is Sunny Guy. And one thing that I do know is, even on his projects, it's when you come to the city, it's okay. Yeah, everybody wants tax dollars. I actually always lead with economic development, what it's going to bring to the city, because hey, you want to improve the city, you want to improve everything, including this building and everything that goes with it, with schools. That all the revenue will help with the city. But then again, in all the counties that I go to, I always get asked the same question, but at what cost? So at what cost are you willing to have the trade-off? So is it, they call them lot lizards, by the way. I don't use prostitution. In the trucking industry, they call them lot lizards, which follow the trucking. Absolutely, positively, Maverick is a great idea. It is a great idea and could actually benefit the city. But the area that it's in, you're shoehorning in something that I spent 45 minutes just standing out there from 3:30 until about 5:15, just watching the flow of traffic and watching the ingress and the egress, which is something that I specialize in. And before I forget, just a question, because I know you guys will answer them later. Was there a traffic control study, either by the city as well as by Caltrans, to see it? And then the other is you know, definitely you want economic development. Again, that's what I lead with, building out the rest of the corridor down here. Absolutely. Again, at what cost? You know, you talk about the on-ramps, off-ramps, you know, they're coming. Okay, but when? Because I've heard cities say, and counties and Caltrans and everybody say that we're going to improve this and we're going to, you know, have this done by a certain time. And then 5 years later, you're still talking about it and you have a log jam. When you talk about just 3, and I'm talking about just 3, and if anybody has ever gone down I-5 or 99, since COVID, it has changed the landscape of what freeways look like. You do no longer see tractor trailers in the right lane. You now see them in the fast lane. You see them in all 3 lanes. The way business is done now, it's through mobile transportation. It's through, let's talk about it, all through the Stanislaus County and San Joaquin County. It is the hub of all the supply chain. And that's the way it is. And you absolutely do need a Maverick, but not at that location. You know, somebody recommended on the other side of the freeway, perfect location. The gentleman over here made a perfect example. You are not going to stop those trucks from parking on the side of the road. There's a vacant lot straight across. Guarantee you they're going to park there. Guarantee you they're going to go across the street over by the Walmarts, and guarantee you they're going to bring the lot lizards. So the question that you have to ask yourself, number one, is a traffic study. How long is it going to take for all of that traffic? And those businesses that are going to come into the corridor, I tell you right now, and you guys are on Planning Commission, the first thing that the business does is they go in and they do a complete study, the demographics of the people in the area and what they, you know, you guys showed all the people that go around and just travel here to go to the super Walmart. So you got to understand that every time you open up a new business, all the people that come there, not to mention just 3 trucks alone, 53 footers, that's 160 feet. How many cars is that? And that's just 3. That's 3 coming in and 3 coming out. What if you have 5? What if you have 6? And then trying to get out and navigate that with the people, just the people that live in the city, trying to go to the services that you guys provide here. And trust me, I thought I knew Ceres. I don't. This whole Mitchell Road and what you guys have built out is pretty incredible there. And again, has nothing to do with, you know, Maverick isn't a good idea. The idea is great. The idea would be better if you change it into a gas station with those pumping stations for the RVs, because they all have, you know, every gas station has diesel for the smaller and medium-sized vehicles. But putting truck stops there, and you're having testimony from people who actually drive trucks. Absolutely, again, you want those tax dollars. You want to have those revenues to upgrade the city, to take you to whatever your vision of planning, building out the city, and what the economic development director is looking at. But again, you got to ask yourself, at what cost? What's it going to look like when that's built out and you're looking at 3 to 5 years down the road? That's the question you have to ask. Different location, maybe on the other side of the freeway. I don't know if there's land there or if it's a possibility, but if there is, absolutely. But you're going to have some kind of parking there, because you guys are in for a nightmare of what's about to come with only 2 parking stalls with 30-minute limit there. It's gonna happen. So, and also, just so you understand, Maverick is a part of Pilot and Flying J, which are the big, large ones that actually have, and those are done right because you have long-term parking. And like they say, those truck drivers get sleepy. Drive down I-5. Every single off-ramp has trucks lined up. And what are they doing? They sleep because they have to take that 8-hour period. They have to. And if they're coming down here, they're going to get a quick, there's no such thing as just getting gas and, oh, we're just traveling through, we're going to stop, get gas and our diesel fuel and then back on the road. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And yes, truck drivers do drive. They know exactly where all the truck stops are. They know exactly where the gas stations are. They know exactly how much fuel they have. And they know from point A to point B. And the independents, of course, they're looking for the best deal as far as what the gas is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Does anyone else in the audience have any comments? No? Is there anyone on Zoom?
No, I see no hands raised at this time.
Did we receive any emails?
Yes, I've received one and I'd like to read it.
Thank you.
This is from Rosalinda Vieira. She says, Dear Planning Commission and city employees, I am writing to provide public input regarding the proposed gas station, item 4 on the agenda. As a resident of Ceres and a frequent visitor to the Gateway Shopping Center, I have several questions that I believe are important for the public discussion. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend the meeting in person as I am out of town. My primary concern is related to traffic flow in the Gateway Center area, which already experiences congestion. Specifically, number 1, will there be sufficient space for diesel trucks with 53-foot trailers to safely enter and exit the lot and access the freeway, especially regarding left-hand turns? I have noted the presence of a raised median referenced on page 71. Will there be adequate turning space for southbound Mitchell traffic turning onto Road? Item 2, is there adequate visibility when making a left turn at the middle exit near the curve, page 71 in the agenda packet? Will drivers have a clear view of oncoming traffic in this area? Item 3, are the surrounding roadways equipped to consistently handle the weight of loaded diesel trucks, which can reach up to 80,000 pounds? Item 4, will this new development impact the current traffic light coordination project? Given that diesel trucks typically accelerate more slowly from a stop, how will this be managed? Additionally, I noticed one designated EV parking space, but did not see charging stations or information regarding the infrastructure for EV-ready parking spaces with dedicated circuits for future installations as required by the California Green Building Standards, which mandates that 15% of parking spaces should be prepared for future electric vehicle chargers. Could you please clarify if this aspect has been addressed? Finally, I would like to confirm whether there will be any provisions for overnight parking, as they are typically open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or a scale house associated with this project. Thank you for considering my concerns. I appreciate your attention to these matters that impact our economy and community. Sincerely, Rosalinda Vieira, longtime resident of Ceres.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. I'll bring it back to the commission for discussion, questions, or motion.
If I may, Chair, since there were a lot of questions posed by the audience, I'd like to suggest that maybe staff goes through some of those and answer them. It'll be mostly Michael, our city engineer, and myself kind of doing a broad answer. And then if you have more specific questions, maybe you can delve in. Will that work, just to get a broad brush so we can at least address the audience's comments, which may in turn be your questions and concerns?
Yes, that would work. Thank you.
So I'll start, and then I will turn over to our city engineer, Michael Beltran. I think the most important item to address first is the CEQA clearance for this project. You'll notice on the front page of the staff report that we listed two documents that we're relying on environmental clearance. The first is the Mitchell Ranch Center EIR. You'll notice that state clearinghouse number says 2007, and then you'll notice the Gateway Center MND, which is a 2019. Two environmental documents that both analyze the environmental effects of that intersection. When you look at an environmental document, you're looking at current and future impacts. When you look at cumulative impacts of a project, you're looking at the surrounding area, and you take the land use designations and put in assumptions in those analysis for traffic. So Highway commercial since 1989, the Mitchell Road corridor has designated that area to be highway commercial. So when studying the environmental impacts cumulatively for that intersection, you are looking at highway commercial uses. So all of those uses have been, whether or not we knew exactly it was going to be a Maverick, we knew that that site was of a certain acreage and there would be a certain amount of highway commercial use there. And then that was taken into the cumulative analysis for those environmental documents. There is no state law that identifies sunsetting clauses on CEQA documents. So you'll say, oh, 2007, that was almost 20 years ago. We have to admit, not much has happened in Ceres in the last 20 years until the recent past, where we had the development of the Gateway Center and the actual construction of Walmart. So you'll notice the date on the other environmental document is 2019. At that time, additional environmental work was done. So when we talk about how are we looking at the environmental impacts of this project, we're saying we're relying on those two previous studies. And then an attachment to the staff report was the Fear and Peers, an actual engineering company, not just people who drive around. They are qualified and qualified to make certain assumptions on traffic and traffic patterns and the effects of driving at intersections. They did a memo, and in this memo, they also analyzed VMT, which was missing from those prior reports because VMT was not a required environmental analysis at the time of that 2000 document. So there's actually additional environmental documentation for this project. So you'll notice in the document that they discussed trips that were previously considered in the Sam Bella project. There was a gas station there. And then they also did a VMT screening analysis, and they categorized these trips as local serving retail trips that already exist. So it negates any potential VMT impact, which is the current measurement of environmental impact on the environment at this time. So when they say that existing retail trips, everybody touched on it. We have trucks here already. As Teddy noted in the staff report, we have trucks in this area. The traffic exists. So those trucks instead aren't fueling here. They're coming through the area. You're getting the negative environmental impacts of those trucks, but they're going to go buy their gas somewhere else, not in the city of Ceres. So they're not new additional trips. They're trips that are already local serving and they exist today. It's important to note that both of those environmental documents have state clearinghouse numbers because they are reported to the state clearinghouse. You have to post environmental documents, and all state agencies, Caltrans being one of them, is offered the opportunity to comment. So if they felt the need to comment on this document, they would have had their opportunity then to do so. Comments were not received from Caltrans. I'd like to talk about the number of gas stations. Section 18.28.090 of our municipal code states that when considering a CUP for a gas station, the commission may consider, not must or shall, whether or not you have 2 or more gas stations at an actual intersection. An intersection based on the highway codes and definition is the intersection of 2 streets crossing. So we generally have an area of Mitchell and Service, but the actual intersection where Maverick will be is Mitchell and Road. That intersection has 0 gas stations. So this would be the first at that actual intersection. So that section of the code really isn't pertinent at this time because there are no gas stations at that intersection. Generally, traffic patterns, I will leave to Michael to discuss, and on-site circulation. But when we review a project, we do review circulation on-site and off-site. Michael can speak to the improvements that are going in that will inherently make the site more drivable. Right now it's an undeveloped parcel, which creates problems for drivers. Until you have those improvements put in, you won't notice that traffic can move more smoothly, but I'll let Michael talk about that. I would like to discuss having, I guess, an economic anchor, the importance. I know that sales tax was dismissed, that we're not going to really get those numbers. And Julian, I might defer to you as well. Having a store like Maverick is an obvious economic anchor for this area, as is Gateway, as is the In-N-Out. We have an undeveloped land behind this parcel. Knowing that there's a Maverick there will inevitably bring strong tenants to that remainder site. And it's highly important that somebody touched on it in the audience, that we have something that people want to go to encourage continued growth in the area. I will turn it over to Michael to address some of the traffic issues.
Thank you, Leah. So Commission, we have reviewed the traffic memo that was prepared by Fair and Peers. Fair and Peers is a very respected firm within the traffic industry. They do many traffic studies all over the state. They did some of the traffic study for the Service and Mitchell interchange. We are also using Advanced Mobility Group on our local traffic project, which will take into account any truck traffic. They're actually being held on retainer also, so that when we do get the traffic synchronization stuff completed, we will be able to actually adjust in real time through our traffic operations center. AMG will actually be able to come in and look at intersections that we may have potential issues at and be able to move traffic through intersections somewhat easier. There are limits to everything with traffic. As Leah said, the traffic is generally already there. With regards to offsite improvements, you'll see in the conditions that all of the offsite improvements need to go in before they are given a certificate of occupancy, meaning the medians need to go in, the curb, the gutter, the sidewalks, all of those offsite improvements need to go in. The truck traffic is generally going to enter farther down on Road Road, which will allow for some circulation that, you know, as opposed to pulling into that first driveway right off of Mitchell. You know, we as in the engineering department made sure that Maverick would not pull trucks into that first driveway simply because it's a safety issue. Those are things that we look at as we move through a process of reviewing any project within our city. So as far as the roads being able to handle it, Mitchell Road is a major truck route. It's designed for it. Road Road will handle it. Obviously, Road Road will not get the truck traffic that Mitchell Road gets. So it's not going to be built as stout as something like Mitchell Road. That would essentially be over-designed for that roadway. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions or?
I have one to start with. It says right here in the report, somebody was saying it's 3 point whatever acres. It's 1.16. How big is it?
That was an error in the staff report. It's a 3.58 acre. Like, I mean, the front page was wrong. The acreage inside the staff report is correct.
So I just have a question. At that same location, have we had any interest for any other business that wants to come in and fill that land in, I don't know, the past couple years that you know of?
The vacant site behind where the Maverick's going to be. Yes,
Where the Maverick is, right? Like where the Maverick is going to be. Has there ever been any other business that was interested in that site, or I guess around it would be fine?
Not to our knowledge. We've only met with the property owner, as far as we know, has been the same property owner, and he's been contemplating doing certain things, but no one else, he's never come to the city with a proposal other.
Okay. And the reason why I asked that is because right now, like somebody mentioned, that property has been vacant for many years now. And, you know, we're trying to generate some revenue into our city to accommodate our current infrastructure, the future, and even our public safety. So if that were to stay vacant any longer, it could be several more years before we see anything. I'm just kind of looking at the moment right now.
So the Mitchell Road Corridor again was Mitchell Road Corridor specific plan was passed in 1989 and amended in 1995. So they had a vision, but it's taken 30 years for that vision to come true. Essentially, the city has kind of stuck to it that this would be a gateway into Ceres. And really, development has just started to occur over the last 5 years. I mean, you can say Walmart's been in the works since 2007, but since it's been constructed. So the time, you know, property owners who understand, you know, it's kind of sitting and waiting till the right offer comes along. The time has come for this intersection, for this area, as noted by the nice gateway development across the street. Like, the time has come for this area to develop, and the property owners kind of held that site until he's found the right tenant, and seems to be the time has come now. And if he loses his tenant, I don't know who would want to express interest in that site, but it's clear that the plan that took 30 years kind of to come to fruition has started to develop. And that's, anybody in planning will tell you that that's how these plans work. The general plan is a 20-year document. We often, as planners, plan out decades because it takes a long time for a plan to come to fruition. And so it looks like that corridor plan is kind of playing out now.
Chair, can I add on to her real quick? So I know a lot of people are talking about that it brings problems and stuff, but just for example, there's 75% of the nation's produce, the nation's, not California, but the nation's produce moves down Highway 99 in trucks. All we're doing is trying to grab some of that to have them refill. The city of Livingston has a truck stop. 3/4 of their general fund is brought in by that truck stop. And they're about 15,000 people. It's doing so well, they're going to put in another truck stop on Hammett Road. And they're in a completion process of that right now. City of Ripon, about 1/2 of their general fund comes from that truck stop. As you notice on both of those, the truck stops have become an anchor, just as Ms. Simulakis was talking about. And they've added hotels to both those locations after the truck stops came in. And that's what we're hoping to do here, is to make it an anchor, because that way we can bring in a restaurant or a hotel because they have somebody captive there at that truck stop or travel center, whatever you'd like to call it. But we have people filling up there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They want to have something possibly other to, something else to eat, maybe a sit down food. No disrespect to Maverick, but they may want to have a sit down meal. That can be done there, and as well as other things that we can bring in. There has been discussions of hotels and stuff, but nothing's going to happen until they have some type of captive audience, and Maverick can do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a question about when is the interchange going to be finished? Maybe it's like a crystal ball that we can't look into. I don't know.
Commissioner, thank you for the question. I actually just did a presentation on it to the city council at the previous city council meeting. So right now we are actually out on the street with an RFQ requesting for a supplemental environmental document, which will include supplemental traffic, supplemental project report, which will give us some different alternatives. We still hope to have this as an open to traffic of 2032 at the latest, but that is where we are at right now.
I'll be older. Did we get a comment back from Caltrans on this?
No, we did not.
Did you refer it to them?
I believe it was routed, yes.
I had a question about that as well. If they don't respond, do we do any follow-up with them, or is it just maybe they didn't get the email and?
Typically in my other cities, they get one bite at the apple. Like, we route it, they don't respond, and they don't respond. And then I have had them come back and say, hey, we didn't hear about this. And I say, well, it was posted on OPR, you were routed the email. That is your cue to respond. So it's not uncommon to not hear back from Caltrans.
That's very true. Been a fascinating hearing tonight, one of the best ones I can remember. A lot of good information has been presented with some excellent presentations by everybody. I think perhaps Randy Myers summed it up really well of it when she made her presentations of the pros and the cons, because we've heard a lot of both. And we haven't heard anything irrational or out of line or unreasonable at all. I think everybody's comments make a lot of sense, and I'm really struggling with it right now. That's why I asked the question about Caltrans, because I know this was covered by under CEQA for the Mitchell Ranch and the Gateway Center, but we're still doing environmental work down at that interchange, as we just heard. So that is an issue. I look at it more specific, I think, to the use itself, and specifically the truck portion of it. I don't think we're hearing anything as far as objections to anything about the use except the trucks. The applicant has said it's not a truck stop, it's a travel center or whatever it is, but it's not a full-blown truck stop. And that's got pros and that's got cons. And we've heard testimony about both those things. I'm not going to repeat it because they all made sense. So I'm really wrestling with it. One issue I do have is I think the main entrance, the main car entrance is on a curve, which I don't like. I don't think that's an ideal location to have a major entrance for a major use, is right on the curve of road there. Somebody commented earlier on in the comments about the traffic exiting, the truck traffic exiting out of here would probably, a lot of it would probably go to the right and then go back and work its way back on the county roads out there, which are very minimal roads. That kind of bothers me. I don't think we've really dealt with all that. Fair and Piers did a traffic study. They do good work generally. They're comparing it with other alternative uses, which might generate the same vehicle traffic, but not necessarily truck traffic. So my concern is the trucks. I could say more, but there's no need. I think everybody's done an excellent job, and I commend everybody tonight, staff and the audience, for bringing up some really good stuff. So I don't know where I'm going. I still don't know how I'm going to vote. I really don't.
So just to express some of my concerns, I was looking at that at road, and right now it's only 2 lanes, right? One in each direction, and that will be modified, or is it going to remain the same with that median?
No, so it'll be going essentially south on Road. It will only be the 1 lane still. It will have a median in it because we don't want cars taking off from a driveway, close to that intersection. And so it will have a median, and it'll have, so that'll wrap around the curve so that we're not taking lefts out of there. Once you come back to the Mitchell Road intersection, as you approach that, there is a dedicated right and a through and a left lane that are all dedicated lanes.
And then what about for the truckers coming out of the gas station to go left?
So coming out of the gas station, the truckers are actually, you can see actually on the site plan on C1, there is a line of sight line that is drawn there so that they can make sure that truckers or vehicles, doesn't matter which one, have an actual line of sight back to where they need to see in order to make a safe left-hand turn.
So I just have some notes here. I know there's a lot of comments about the traffic congestion. I see it all the time because I'm frequently driving through there. There isn't going to be any overnight lodging, which I do appreciate. I think there's, the benefits again to generating some revenue. So this one also is, it's difficult because there's pros and cons, but I think maybe some of our pros are outweighing those cons in this situation. It sounds like, the traffic evaluations, the studies have been done pretty well, and the staff report had a lot of good detail about the entire project.
I did want to add something, Chair, if I may. So the Fear and Piers memo does talk about heavy truck fueling transactions. And Fear and Piers did note that heavy trucks will account for 4.7% of daily fueling transactions. So they did look when studying trips, trucks going to this site. It wasn't just an analysis of cars, but trucks, in fact, using this site. And so at a peak transaction, heavy trucks make up 6.6 transactions in the morning and 5.2% of the transactions in the evening. So that's 5.2% and 6.6% of the total. So there is a majority car use at that site. It's been noted by using data of other Mavericks that the truck trips do not make the truck fueling isn't the majority use of that site, but it's there to offer it to those trucks that we aren't getting the business now where we could in the future. I just wanted to note that was in the traffic trip generation memo.
And I mean, yeah, I feel like we have a lot of gas stations in our city already, and I've even made comment on all the gas stations. I do feel this one it's different, it's unique, it's different. There is the RV dump. There's enough space to pull a trailer through, and capturing, some business from those truckers that are driving up and down Mitchell Road all day could be a benefit to our residents.
I'd like to know, having a collection of gas stations in an appropriately designated spot, alleviates those trips to gas stations off the beaten path. If there is a truck who needs fuel, I mean, there's two, and then the industrial area, I believe that we offer truck, but they're kind of off the grid. To get there, you're venturing off the truck route. You want to come and fuel at this station, you can stay on the designated truck route. And the point of designating a truck route, the pavement, and Michael, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the pavement is better equipped to handle the weight of a truck. The truck turning radii are better. So really, when you take trucks off a non-designated truck route, you're doing damage to your street. It means Michael's gonna have to do more overlays, and you're gonna have more potholes. When they stay on their designated truck routes, that pavement has been poured in a way that handles that weight. So you're providing them a place to fuel where they should be, rather than letting them venture off into one of those side gas stations that maybe they can squeeze in, but now they had to drive on a residential or a smaller collector to get there. And I also wanted to note, I did a quick survey of rather large freeway off-ramps up and down the state of California between here and Bakersfield. And the majority of these, major, there are places when you're driving, if you drive to LA, you're gonna stop there. At Childs Avenue in Merced, you've got 3 gas stations. At R Street in Merced, you've got 5 gas stations. At Avenue 18.5, you have 3. At Herndon and Fresno, at Shaw Avenue in Fresno, you have 4. In the small town of Goshen, you have a 4-truck freeway exit with 4 fueling stations. At Page Road in Tulare, 4. In California Avenue, in Bakersfield, 4. At White Lane, I'm sure we all stopped at White Lane going down to LA. In Fresno, 4. In Bakersfield. And again, in Tejon Ranch, obviously the large stop right before the Grapevine, there's 7. It's not uncommon to have a large concentration of gas stations at a freeway off-ramp. Again, these businesses know their market. They're not going to locate somewhere where they're not going to make a profit. Maverick's done their research. Maverick has selected the site in conjunction with our city engineer, have reviewed the site to make sure that trucks, why would they want to build a truck stop or a gas station that trucks can't get in and out of? That's bad business. They know that the site works, so regardless of opinion, they've studied whether or not they can get trucks in and out of that site. It's been confirmed by the city engineer. And really, we want our gas stations concentrated off the freeway. We want to capture that traveler, the people coming to the Super Walmart who are in and out. It's not a sit-down restaurant. We're not going to, people aren't going to think to themselves, what do we want to do tonight? Let's go to Maverick. No, it's those travelers driving, as someone mentioned, the 99 is busy. Why would we want, and somebody else mentioned, why do you want to lose those dollars to Turlock? They're coming to the Central Valley. They're in Sacramento, and then they have an approved gas station in Manteca, which is not built off the 120. They have selected Ceres as their first gas station in the Central Valley. Why would we want to lose that to another city when this is the perfect site for a gas station?
Thank you. Does the commission have any other comments?
Let me bounce around a little bit. When I first got this package, I thought, oh my gosh. Well, as we talked before, this gas station is not taken away. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. This gas station is not taken away from our internal gas station. This is pull people off the freeway to get fuel. And as I was driving there yesterday to look at the area, I'm sitting at the intersection of Mitchell and right there at the Walmart. And I'm like, wow, this is what this was designed for, to bring business into town. And Maverick wants to come into town. And I look across from the light and I'm like, that's a pretty cool location. You know, that is going to draw people in. This is not going to make everybody happy, but the availability to get the tax money from that and, you know, yeah, are we going to have trucks parked on the side of the road? Well, guess what? There's some guys over here that are going to be responsible for that. And they're on board with it. So I think there are some cons and there are pros. And I think the pros outweigh the cons on this. They want to come to our city, and I think it's a great idea.
Does anyone want to make a motion or have any other comment?
I think I've been convinced. An excellent discussion. Everybody's contributed. Staff's been great, both sides here. And the attorney hasn't said a thing, and that's good.
We're not done.
Well, I'm going to read right from the staff recommendation in the staff report. My mic is on. I don't have much. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, see what I did there? Okay. Hope I'm loud enough here. I'm going to make a motion that we find the proposed project consistent with the Mitchell Ranch Center EIR and the Ceres Gateway Center mitigated negative declaration per California Environmental Quality, Section 15168C2. See, my voice is going. Pardon me. And then approve a conditional use permit for the construction of a 5,951 square foot Maverick fueling station convenience store with 24 fuel pumps and the site improvements at the southeast corner of Mitchell Road and Rhodey Road.
I'll second it.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Catchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Nero,
Aye.
and Chairperson Otero.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving along to new business, none. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to, forgot about it again. So moving on to new business, none. Public meetings, none. Unfinished business, none. Matters initiated by Planning Commission and staff, none. Are there any reports from the commission? I don't have any from city attorney or city staff.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. The next regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting will be held on Monday, December 2nd, 2024. This meeting is adjourned.